Hi guys, how's everybody doing out there this morning? It is, oh, actually, no, it's not morning right now. Looks like we're live. It is 12 p.m. on the button here, Pacific time. And I'm using a little vacation time, so I'm taking this Friday off. And as you know, I do live streams the first Friday of every month. And it is Friday, the first Friday of August. So we have currently 12 p.m. Pacific time here on Salt Spring Island. A little cooler today, which I really appreciate. It is currently 18.1 degrees Celsius and humidity is 51.3. We have mostly cloudy skies now. It was absolutely beautiful earlier, but the clouds came in, and I hope we get some rain. Yesterday morning, early in the morning, it was before 5 a.m., I got up and I could hear the rain just pounding on the roof, which is a rare occurrence in the summer months here to get rain. So we ended up with 12 millimeters, and it ended pretty quick. I mean, by the time I got to work, the rain had already stopped, which was 6:30 a.m. And then the sun came out. So it was actually a really nice day yesterday, and I didn't have to water the garden. Wendy's away over on the mainland. She's in Vancouver, and she'll be back later on. And we have people checking into the B&B, I think, at around 3 today, or just 3. So I'll have to open up the accommodation for them. And it's been mostly local people staying here at the accommodation. Usually we get a lot of people from the States, but since the borders are still closed, it is all local people from British Columbia. When I say local, I mean British Columbia and Big Island, and mostly the Pacific Coast, the South Pacific Coast. We may have had somebody from the interior, I'm not sure. But yeah, there are people checking in today. So I figured I'd do this live stream a little earlier, and that way later on I can go for a motorcycle or ride. So hope you guys are having good weather, and hope you guys got some rain happening where you are as well. I see there's a heat wave in Europe. What was it? Somebody posted something on one of my groups. There's 34 degrees Celsius in Britain or Sweden, somewhere over there. Maybe it was Sweden. I think Britain's getting some heat too. We had our heat last week and the week before, and I'm glad it is done. I'm hoping it's done for the summer, but I don't think it is. I'm sure we're going to get some more heat, but and heat here is like 30 degrees Celsius at this end of the island. Other areas of the island get many days up into the 30s, but this end of the island's always a little bit cooler in the summer, thank goodness, because we are really near the ocean. And I picked up a really good map the other day. This is a really good map of Salt Spring Island here. Seeing it, all the lakes and everything on it, and all the different things to do. So it's a pretty good size island, as you can see, and it's quite wide at the base there at the bottom. I think they say it's 9 miles across or something like that. Very narrow up here where we live. We're way up here. We're on the very northern tip of the island. You see all that ocean around us there? You know what I mean? So it regulates the air temperatures. That's our natural air conditioning. And thank goodness for natural conditioning on those warm summer days. Anyway, it's been a really good summer so far, and I hope you guys have been having a good summer too. This year looks like we're having a staycation here on Salt Spring Island. Just because of what's going on in the world, I don't really want to be flying anywhere. So Maui is off this year. This will be the first year I have not gone to Hawaii. And I go to Hawaii every year. And I absolutely love Hawaii. It's my favorite place on the planet, I think, besides the Oregon coast. I do love the Oregon coast too. If I didn't live here, I would live on the Oregon coast or somewhere in the Hawaiian Islands. I do like Maui. I have never checked out Kauai yet. I've been to Oahu at least 20 times, and I do love Oahu too. And I mean, Waikiki and Honolulu. The other side of Oahu is actually quite quiet and reserved, laid back. Maui's more like that. We stay in Kihei. And you know what it is? It is the climate I go for in the wintertime. It's nice to get that extra month of summer, and then plus the flora. Of course, I love exotic plants, so I get my exotic plant fix every time I go to. I mean, they can grow it all. It is like the perfect climate. To me, it never really gets too sickening hot, although I know they can get a few hot days that might be sickening hot when you get the humidity. But most of the time when I'm there, the trade winds are blowing, and that makes it feel a lot better. Like I say, that natural air conditioning is going. So anyway, we're 5 minutes into this live stream. I don't see anybody in there yet, and that's a good thing. It's good that you're not in there because you're probably out playing in the garden or soaking up the sun, or you know what it is? You might be working, because I'm usually working right now too. So I'm taking today off, which is Friday, and I'm taking Monday off. Last weekend was a long weekend. We had Monday off, so it was a short work week for me. So I had Monday and I got Friday off. Then I'm going to take Monday off next week, and then once October comes, I'm going to head to the west coast of Vancouver Island, the Big Island, and stay tuned for some videos of palmy things. There's lots of cordylines that grow. Lots of cordylines that grow over on the west coast. I mean, I think it's the tree of choice in Tofino and Eucalyptus. They are everywhere. There are these massive tree size cordylines. There's more cordylines than there are palm trees. I mean, there are Trachycarpus palms over there, but there are cordylines everywhere. Everywhere you look, it seems to be their favorite plant, and they are a long-term plant over there. It is a Northern Zone 9A long-term. I do even know of a CIDP growing, a Canary Island date palm, so I'll make sure to shoot a video of it. It's been in the ground for quite a few years, and it's starting to get some size to it. And in the same garden, there is a Brahia edulis, a Guadalupe palm. So I'll make sure to visit my friend there and show you his exotic garden. He's got tree fern, he's got needle palms, he's got jubaeas, he's got big butias, he's got camarops, cordylines, and he's even got a Ericaria heterophylla in his garden, which is a Norfolk Island pine. He's got it growing up against his house. I think it was more of an experiment when he planted it. And it's not very big, but it is outside. You know, a neighbor of mine many moons ago planted a Norfolk Island pine in her garden. And I said, those are not hardy here. You're lucky if it lasts a winter. And it lasted 5 winters before a cold blast got it. She used to put a cardboard box around it. No heat. There was no heat on this plant. And she put this cardboard box around it. And this little plant, this little tree survived. I think it got to about maybe 4.5 feet tall, maybe 5 foot tall max. And then a bad cold snap came and killed it. But I used to drive by this Norfolk Island pine every day. It was very impressive. And when I saw it survive the first winter, I was more blown away. And after 3 or 4 winters, I was just like, wow, this is amazing. I mean, I've tried them before and they've got wiped out. I had bad luck. But she had a lot of good winters in a row until the doozy came and killed it. And the last doozy we had was December 2008. That's the one I talk about, the infamous winter of 2008. Lots of snow and lots of cold, and persisted. The cold was persistent. It lasted, and that's what does damage to palm trees and sort of marginal, on the edge, borderline plants, right? So one night of cold may not do it, but you get several nights of cold and it does damage to the plants or kills some plants. None of our Trachycarpus palms were damaged, but that's why you cannot grow palm trees anywhere else in Canada, because the cold lingers. Oh, must be somebody here. There's our guard dog on duty. Guard dog on duty. Kahoo, hey, stop it. Come here. You hear that? Isn't that a vicious bark? That's like a little mini pit bull packaged up into an 8-pound Yorkie / Havanese. Okay, so we got 2 likes. That means there are people actually watching this, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing too, but I'm also happy that, you know, there's probably less people commenting because you're out playing in your garden and enjoying the sun, maybe at the beach, maybe at a lake. We have a lot of lakes here, and we have beaches all around our island, so there's no shortage of things to do, and there's lots of hiking trails here on Salt Spring Island. From one end to the other, there are hiking trails in the forest. Kahoo, what are you barking at? Hopefully not a deer in the garden. Somebody left our gate open weeks ago, and well, I know they left the gate open because I went out into the garden and I saw a whole bunch of plants that were eaten. I'm thinking, okay, there's no way the deer is going to jump our fence. And there was a deer that got into the garden. Somebody left the gate open, and the deer actually got out. Maybe the gate was open so long it came in, it ate, and went out. And so it's like a big salad bar, our garden. There's lots of nice things for the deer to eat. And they cause a lot of damage and eat a lot of costly plants. Deer will eat anything with a price tag on it. So, Kahoo! Shh! Crazy dog. Might be barking at nothing. Air barking, I call that. Every night when I let it out, it barks. So anyway, folks, oh, I hear the bells ringing on our gate. Means there might be somebody out there. See, people come to see the gallery. Wendy has Gallery 59 here, an art gallery, but she's been away for a couple of days in Vancouver visiting her son, and gallery is closed. I'm not an art gallery guy. I do appreciate art, but I'm not an art gallery guy. I leave that to her, and she's the B&B lady as well. She likes to paint, she likes to sell art, and she likes to rent out her accommodation. I am just the gardener here. That's all I do. And I do live streaming, just like I'm doing right now. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching the videos here. I just uploaded one of Trachycarpus palm seed germination in the greenhouse, and they're coming along nicely. This morning I was pruning a big eucalyptus tree. Oh man, as the branch came down, I jumped off the ladder. High ladder. I'm amazed I didn't break my hip. It's okay. Anyway, it was high up. That was just short of an orchard ladder, and I'm getting too old to be jumping off ladders. So anyway, yeah, the problem with the eucalyptus trees, they grow so fast, and that one I planted in a bad spot, kind of hangs over the greenhouse, and some of the branches get pretty close to the high tension wires. There's power lines that run past it, and if any of those branches hit those wires, they will burst into flames. I remember years ago, we had a Eucalyptus nitens at the end of our driveway. And I was out watering the garden one summer, and I heard arcing. It sounded like somebody using an arc welder. I said, there's nobody around here. We don't have any neighbors. Who's using an arc welder? So I could hear it from quite far away because it was quite loud. And I walked down to our lower driveway. We have 3 driveways. And I heard it again. And I looked. And there's a big eucalyptus tree growing right on the edge of the road I planted years ago, shining gum. And it was probably 40 feet tall, 35 to 40 feet tall. And every time the breeze hit it, the tops of the branches would hit the high tension wires, and and smoke was coming off of it. And I said, that is not good, man. Not good at all. That thing burst into flames, it's going to start a major fire. So what I did, I did a really crazy thing. I took a aluminum ladder, and I put it up against the tree. And when the tree was bent over far from the wires, and it actually went over more, as I put the ladder against it, pushed farther away from the wires, I took a saw and I cut the top of the tree off, and it fell on the road. And when I told the fire department I did that, they says, Joe, you're crazy. Don't ever do that again, because you could get electrocuted. But you know what? Better me going up in flames than the island. So anyway, I got rid of the tree. And then in December 2008, that tree actually froze and died. It was a big tree. I lost the Eucalyptus nitens, and I was actually very happy that I lost that tree, because it was really a pain. I had to constantly prune that thing because it was growing so fast and up under the high tension wires there. So don't plant trees underneath wires. We have some under there right now, but we keep them really low. We're always keeping them pruned. They're about 10 feet high and really thick. So Eucalyptus nitens and Perniana we have there, and we do have a 60-foot nitens, not under the wires. It's beside them, a ways away, but it still sends off branches to get close to the wires. So that's the one that I pruned today, and I will upload a video later. And I took a 19-foot branch off of it. One branch was 19 feet long, and I did post a couple of pictures of it on People Who Love Palm Trees and Exotic Plants. So anyway, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this live stream. You see, I like to talk, and I can talk for hours. But if I don't see a comment in there in the next few minutes, I think we're going to pull the plug on this. And I think I may go for a motorcycle ride and go to town and have a good cup of Java. I'm not a big Java drinker, but you know, Beachside Cafe in town has really good coffee. If you're ever on Salt Spring Island, we have a lot of coffee shops. Okay, so there's bean drinking, which is good. We got Beachside Cafe coffee, and kayak rentals and paddleboard rentals. And then we have roasting company, Salt Spring Roasting Company. And then we have TJ Beans, and also Barb's Buns. And also the co-op gas station. Love the videos. What zone is Salt Spring Island? We are 3 zones here. We have 3 growing zones here. We have zone 8A, 8B, and 9A. And I'm in 9A at this end of the island. So I was just showing earlier, here's a nice map of Salt Spring Island. Okay, there's Salt Spring Island is 16.7 miles long. And I'm right here, right on the tip of the island. This area up here is all zone 9A. Up here, all down by the water. And then it changes once you get down into here. This is zone 8A. Zone 8A. In here, there's 8B over here. There's commercial olives over here. Down by the water, there's lots of 9A and 8B all around in here. And this is 9A out here and 9A out there. I know all the growing zones on Salt Spring Island. I know where all the... I've been here long enough to know what grows and what won't grow on Salt Spring Island. I know all the cold and warm areas on this rock. You just have to drive around on a winter day and you will see where the frost sits. You also see where the snow stays the longest and where there is no snow. I've seen snow stay in the cold zones for 2 months. Cold it is there. And what's more amazing, in the Zone 8A Cranberry Valley, deep in the valley at the base of a mountain, it's a high elevation valley. A friend of mine says, you know, Joe, we got a palm tree growing. I says, I bet you there's no palm trees growing in the Cranberry Valley. And she says, well, we have a palm tree. I says, you got to be kidding. I says, how long has it been there? She says, they planted it in 2001. I says, that is awesome. How big is it? She says, it's probably close to 20 feet tall. So I went out there and I looked at the flowers. She sent me a picture of the flowers. It was a female. I determined it was a female. So I said, can I dust that with male pollen? And she said, sure. So I went out at the right time of the year. I think it was May or June. I got a video of it here when it was blooming. And you know, it was beautiful here when I left. And when I arrived there, it was pouring down with rain. And I had this male pollen with me. I brought 3 pollen stalks, male pollen stalks. I cut off flower stalks. And I went with my extended pole thing and I attached it and I dusted it in the pouring rain. And I went, it was going to work. So I saw her and I said, how did the pollination go? Is there any seeds forming on it? And she says, yeah. So she sent me a picture of it and it's got quite a few seeds on it. And I met her son-in-law last night when I went out for dinner and in town. And he says, yeah, there's a lot of seeds coming on it. So I'm going to get some of those seeds from a Zone 8A growing location. The first time that palm has ever been pollinated. And it's exciting because it's a very cold area. They often get minus 10 degrees Celsius in there and minus 15 degrees Celsius as well. When it was minus 15 degrees Celsius there, the one winter, we only got down to minus 4 degrees Celsius here. We were minus 4.1. See, that's the difference in temperature, about 10 degrees on this island. So that area is probably 15, 16 kilometers south of here, something like that. But you got to remember, Salt Spring Island is very mountainous and very hilly. And if you're living in a valley, that's actually a very poor area to grow things, marginal things, because if it's surrounded by mountains or hills, cold air is like water, and that cold air spills off the hillsides, rolls down the hillsides, and sits down into the valleys. It's a frost pocket. So any depressions or low areas are frost pockets, okay? And that's why we live on top of this knoll here. We're up on top of a ridge, all right? And our property slopes away, all the way away from our gardens. So it's rare that you'll ever see frost in our garden up here. You could see it down in the deep ravine that's very far from here and very deep, because it rolls down from our garden and lands and it settles down into the but we do grow a lot of Trachycarpus down there, and there's Petasites japonicus, Taxodium distichum, and there's lots of bamboo growing down there as well. It can get colder, but it's not enough to kill palm trees. We do have lots of, like I say, I spread Trachycarpus seed down there, and they're growing all over the place. So this area where I'm at is a northern zone 9A. The last time we fell into zone 8B was December 2008. We went down to 18 degrees Fahrenheit. So we were dropped into the high end of zone 8B. And that was enough to damage some plants and weed out some wimpy plants. Like you're growing some wimpy eucalyptus trees, it's going to weed them out. The grevilleas were okay. It was eucalyptus that got damaged. The tree fern lost its fronds that winter, but it put more out. I wasn't worried about it. And it also lost them in December 1998 was a bit of a cold snap too. I don't remember the 96 one. It may have as well. 96 was kind of cool too. December 96, we had a whack load of snow. And early January 93 was a bit of a nasty one. See, the problem is we don't get any cold from the east, okay? The problem is we got Alaska to the north. And when Alaska decides to open her doors up, the Gulf of Alaska, that cold air spills right down and comes right down the coast and infiltrates the southwest coast of British Columbia. And what happens, we have moist air here, Pacific air, and it meets with that cold, dry northern air, and that equals snow. And that's why we can get good dumpings of snow in a bad winter, because the warm, moist Pacific with the dry air, and well, that wetness turns into snowflakes. I don't like snow. I'd rather it just be clear and cold, minus the snow. But the good thing here at this end of the island, when we do get snow, it does not last long. It may last a day or two. May last a few days. I've seen it last up to a week, the worst in the worst winters. And after a week, it's all gone because it usually turns into rain. But other areas of the island, I've seen it last for 2 months in the Zone 8 areas, and the lakes are frozen there just as long. And it's very interesting driving around this island. And I'm all over the island working for the Parks Department. I've been to every square inch of this island. And before that, even when I used to work at the other company, I worked at a big nursery. I did a lot of deliveries of soil and plants and this and that. So I've been all over the island. I've been up and down every single road on this island. There's a lot of roads. So I know where the palms grow, and I know where all the cold areas are, and I know where all the mild areas are. And I picked this spot especially to grow exotic plants. That's why I'm living in this spot. I did my homework. I used to grow them near Ganges, the village at Mom and Dad's place. They bought that place in 1980, and then before that, they bought a place in the 70s. They were down on Horrell Road, but they didn't have a house there. They had 10 acres more south of that, which is way colder. And then they bought near Ganges, which wasn't bad. It's still 8B, and I did grow eucalyptus and lots of palms there. And then when they put the place up for sale, I think they sold it in 95, and I was here before that at this place. But then I went over and I dug everything out and I moved them here. So I brought a bunch of the palms from there and moved them here. Unfortunately, the Camarops bit the big one. That's a drag. Camarops don't like to be moved too much unless you got a big root ball with them. I find they lose the main trunk, but the suckers survive. Unfortunately, that one packed it in. It was such a nice one too. It survived the bad winter of December 1990 at my last location. It was a beauty. I had it featured in HPI. Getting tired. I'm going to have to get something else to eat. Anyway, folks, it is a perfect day here, folks, Northeast Hardy Palms and Tropicals. We had 18.1 degrees Celsius, so a little cooler today, and I absolutely love this weather. And 51.5 or 3% humidity, something like that. And you're the only one aboard there. I don't know if you're still in there. And we got 5 likes, 1 like, and 5 people watching. So that's good. There are some people hanging out in here. I call that sandy bagging. They're watching the live stream. Stay tuned for a video of pruning eucalyptus trees. I just shot one this morning. Like I say, I cut a 19-foot branch off one of our trees. And this is the time to prune them. If you're in the northern region like us, never, ever prune eucalyptus trees in the fall or winter. It can be detrimental to the tree because they need time to heal over the wound. And if you get a very bad freeze, it can kill the tree. But if you're going to have a mild winter, which we don't know, then it's okay. But if you're not guaranteed to have a mild winter, then the best bet is to prune them in the spring or summer. That's a rule of thumb when growing eucalyptus trees in the north. And we grow a lot of eucalyptus trees. I'm sure we have over 20 species of eucalyptus trees in our garden here. And some of them are very big. Big trees, 100 feet tall. And some of them we did cut down and use for firewood. The matter, I enjoy your garden so much. All the best. Good to see you in there. I like that name. How do I say that? Etheria Meadow. That is a really nice name. Well, thanks for tuning in. And glad to have you aboard. If you're on Facebook, check out some of my groups. We have quite a few Facebook gardening groups. I think the most popular one is people who love palm trees and exotic plants. So there's a lot of people in that site. I think there's well over 7,000 now. And good people from all over the world and very knowledgeable. So, anybody that has any questions about plants or exotica, feel free to post your pictures and comments in there. And if you don't know something, somebody out there is definitely going to answer it for you. Just lots of knowledge on that forum. And then I have Banana Joe's Northern Palm Paradise and Banana Joe's Palms and Exotic Plants for Northern Zones, something like that. I have gardening in every growing zone in Canada. And then I have Canadian Tropics. And then there's my Banana Joe like page. Do you have recommendations on where to buy sizable, hardy, trunking yuccas? US. Why don't you try, what's the name of that? Chili Palm Co. Chili Palm Company in the States. I wonder if they sell yuccas. There's also Tai plants. I don't know if I've heard the best stuff about them. I don't want to talk bad about people, but look at Tai plants in Georgia. I mean, they're easy to get yuccas here. Everybody sells yuccas, and we have trunking yuccas all over our garden here. There's so many yuccas. They're very common. We grow Gloriosa. We grow Gigantea. We grow Filamentosa, Recurvifolia, and there's some other ones in there too. I don't even know the names of them. And there's Rostrada on the island. I don't have Rostrada. And there's some big Yucca Elata growing in Richmond near Vancouver on Lulu Island. It was planted 40 years ago. Yucca Rostrada or Yucca Elata is a really good one. That's the giant soap tree yucca. Very hardy plant. So if you can get your hands on one of those, you might want to try a Yucca Elata. But Rostrada is a really nice one. Nobody here on Salt Springs sells them. I had a chance to get some. I was at a Palm Society barbecue / luau maybe close to a decade ago. And my buddy Ray had a bunch of them there. They had short trunks on them. I think they were $45, $50. I walked on the ferry that day. I had no way of getting them back. I should have scooped one and just got him to hold it for me. But that was the last time I had a chance to actually get a Yucca Rostrada, and I'm still kicking myself. They're very hardy, and there's lots of them even growing in Zone 8A areas here on the southwest coast of British Columbia. There's some big ones in Vancouver with 10 feet of trunk on them. So no trick to grow Yucca Rostrada. The key to growing yuccas and cactus, fast draining soil and full sun. And that's something we're not lacking on a rock, man. It is sandstone and shale, and our cactus patch is loving it. It grows in native rocky sandstone and shale. And we do have native cactus on our garden. For those of you that don't know, we have Opuntia fragilis. I posted some pictures yesterday of our native cactus on Salt Spring Island. There's quite the cactus patch that used to grow just down the road from us here. And I took those pictures a long time ago. And hopefully the new people that bought the place did not remove the cactus, because that often happens. People will buy a place and they remove things like that. They don't like the cactus. It's too prickly. It's a really neat plant. Yeah, it is prickly. And they are barbed, the spines. Once they go in, they don't really want to come out. But it is unique. It's native to our islands here. We also have native succulents as well. Sedum spathifolium, and then there's one other one here too. I don't know the name of it, but it also grows all over the place. But Sedum spathifolium is beautiful. They're these little rosettes, kind of like hens and chicks. They spread, and they're just the beach across the street. The rock face is just covered, solidly covered in these sedums. There's no cactus on this side. Cactus usually grows on the southwest slopes, and I'm on the east side of the here. But it grows here in our garden. I mean, you can plant it here, and it's not a problem. But it does flower. You get yellow flowers on it. So it's a really neat plant. It's called Opuntia fragilis. And we grow a lot of different types of opuntias in our garden. So anyway, glad you guys are still tuned here, folks. Live stream seems to still be going okay. 29 minutes into this live stream, and the signal has not died on me yet. So the boosters that Wendy hooked up seem to be working. That's really good. I'm hearing voices. Cyclists going by. We get a lot of cyclists go by here. Huh. I'm amazed the dog's not barking. Usually our little dog. Hey, dog, Kahu, come here. You want to say hi? Do you want to say hi to these people? Come here, Kahu. Come here. Come on. He's being a loner today. Cat was sleeping. New bananas I got these new bananas. A lady gifted them to me. She messaged me the other day, It was several days ago. And she says, Joe, would you like some bananas? And I said, sure. So I was working in the park yesterday and a vehicle pulls up and she had the bananas with her. And they are, I believe, some sort of dwarf Cavendish. They have more red blotches in the leaves. They're quite nice. So they're going to have to come in for the winter months. We do have one in our house that is looking absolutely beautiful. And I've been giving it Miracle Grow. And in the wintertime, I really cut back on the water. But I'm going to be here this winter to look after it, thank goodness. I'm not going to be in Maui, which I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss Maui. But I'm going to be here looking after the banana plant. Because we go away and it's on its own with no water for a month. So, but like I say, less water for those indoor bananas. And we haven't had any problem with spider mites or bugs on it or anything. It's got little pups coming up beside it. And hopefully one day, if we're lucky, we will get bananas on it. That would be really cool. I don't know how many people are growing bananas out there. I'm sure a lot of you guys, excuse me. You know, the problem is I stayed up way too late last night. Wendy's away in Vancouver. And I stayed up last night banging my head against the wall listening to, I like listening to loud music. I was listening to some Motorhead on YouTube, and I've seen them a couple of times in concert. So when she's gone, I can crank my metal up really loud. Wendy does not like my music very much, so not the metal music, but I am a metalhead. Just want to let you guys know that. But I also like oldies, and I like Hawaiian music too. I like 60s, 70s, 80s music, but I was cranking it really loud. And it was just not, by the time I went to bed, it was about 11:15. I'm thinking, oh God. And then I got up at 5:30. I'm an early riser. I got a built-in alarm clock because I'm up early every morning before 5 a.m. So I was up early and I put a video on, and I also put a video on my other YouTube channel. So check out my other YouTube channel as well. I actually have 3 YouTube channels, okay? My first one I don't upload to anymore. I can't even get logged into that one anymore. But my other YouTube channel is Jungle Joe C, and I put videos on that on a regular basis. So there's a lot of plant videos on there as well. And what you don't see on this channel, you will probably see on that channel. I'm sure there's probably over 3,000 videos on that channel, at least 3,000 videos, maybe more. So check it out. And this one here, you know, I upload daily too, and I've been on this channel since this one I started in early July 2010. So I've had this one for over 10 years now. And then my first YouTube channel I started in 2008, and it's got over 1,000 vids on it. But like I say, I don't upload to it anymore. But there's plant videos on there as well, and it's called BJ616, Banana Joe 616, BJ616. So you can check that one out too. It doesn't have as many subs as this one, but you know, there are still people subbing to it, surprisingly enough. So quiet out there today, folks. Very quiet out there. We got a couple of people that commented, and usually the board is just moving, but I usually do my live streams later. This is a very early live stream. So I think maybe go for a few more minutes, and I'm really thinking on going for a motorcycle ride. Like I say, I really like to ride to town and park my bike in front of cafe and have a small cup of dark roast Java, because they really have good Java there. And I don't know how many of you people have ever visited Salt Spring Island, but there's some really neat little shops and eateries in Ganges. Ganges is our village, named after the HMS Ganges, a British naval ship that sailed these waters back in the 1800s. And so Ganges is a village, okay? It's not named after the river Ganges in India. Ganges is our village. We are unincorporated. We are not a municipality, all right? So it's different living here on this island than it would be, say, on the mainland. It's a very laid-back place, very rural. This is a very rural island. There's no traffic lights. They put in a couple of crosswalks several years back and put in a couple of yellow flashing lights. I think we have 2. Do we have 2 yellow flashing cross? Yeah, we have 2 yellow crosswalk lights now. So, and then they actually put in a 4-way stop at Central it had to have been about 5 years ago, and it really messed with people's brains. And I shot a video of it, and I couldn't believe it. I was mowing the sports fields that day. So this is the first full day of a new 4-way stop. So the intersection people used to just cruise through, whatever. accidents there. So after too many accidents, they said, let's do something about it. They put a four-way stop in. So it's the only four-way stop on our island. So they put the four-way stop in, and then well before the four-way stop, they put traffic pattern change, four-way stop ahead, new four-way stop, flashing lights. People were still whipping through there. I saw at least 15 people pretty much in a row whip through that four-way stop because they were used to doing it. They're not used to the four-way stop. So I'm amazed nobody got killed. But anyway, it's people are used to it now. You get used to new things. And some people here don't really like getting used to new things. It's like when you're going to rip down an old building, people protest. I mean, it's kind of crazy when I see that. But the newer buildings look a lot nicer than some of those old decrepit ones. So, and Beachside, the coffee shop I go to, used to be kind of run down. It was kind of funky, but you know, it needed a rebuild, so they gave it 100% facelift. It is absolutely beautiful. You can see my videos here of Beachside. It's a really neat place, and the owners, Jay and Anna Banana, are really nice people, and they do have great coffee. And if you want to go kayaking or paddle boarding, go to Beachside. I think they have a website here. They have a Facebook page, and it's just a nice, relaxing place to sit. You can sit on the main drag in Ganges, watch all the tourists, people watch, or you can sit on the ocean side and watch people take kayaks out for a 4-hour trip to Chocolate Beach. So, okay, folks, I think I am going to call it a day because there's really nobody in here. And I think maybe later on I might do another live stream, but I'll have to keep it down to a dull roar if these people check in. We got people checking into the accommodation. The check-in time is 3, and often they'll check in right at 3. Oh, I froze. That's interesting. Oh, that's weird. That was really weird. I froze for a second. Did you see that? Wonder what happened. No, I don't speak French. We're in the Western Canada, so not a lot of French-speaking people out this way. We're a long way from Quebec. It's about 6.5 hours to probably fly there from here. Hola, Brian. Okay, now there's people in there. Thomas, yeah, I don't speak French, but I can eat poutine. That's French. Poutine is a Quebec thing. I hear somebody sneezing. Sounds like Wendy's daughter. Hola, Joe. Aloha, Joe. Jonathan. There's Jonathan. There. Jonathan, I shot a video just for you of eucalyptus trees in our garden. The bark is peeling off right now, and they look tropical. There's some ones blooming here right now, too. But yeah, the ones we have was big. I just took just about a 20-foot branch off one of our eucalyptus trees. It was getting up close to the power lines at the end of our far driveway. So I knocked that off. It's off a spinning gum eucalyptus tree. I planted that one about 20 years ago, but I'm going to have to get the bucket truck tree cutters arborist to cut that sucker down. The way it's hanging over the greenhouse, it's a big tree. And I was quite stupid for planting it where I did. I didn't think it would amount to too much. A little seedling I grew from seed in some rocky, poor, dry soil, and it took off and grew like a rocket. And now it's a big tree. So I've been knocking branches off it. It's not, you see those. No, you don't see them in the rainforest. Well, you might see some of them. You might see Degelupta maybe near a rainforest, but they are very beautiful trees, eucalyptus, and they look, I know when people enter our B&B, there's massive ones at the entrance of our B&B, and that's the first thing they say is, what are these trees? What are these tropical looking trees? Yeah. Oh yeah, you see them in Hawaii. There's eucalyptus trees all over Hawaii, but they were planted there, of course. Australia, there's lots of eucalyptus trees. I'm sure there must be some up in Cairns in the tropical areas of Australia. Look up tropical species of eucalyptus. There's over 700 species of eucalyptus trees. So I'm sure there are some that are native to the tropics. There's only species that will grow in the tropics. I know that. The really tender ones. We grow the hardier ones here. Provenance makes a big difference. So you got to watch where you collect the seed from eucalyptus tree. Anything in low-lying areas of Australia is going to be absolutely useless in cold areas. I don't believe there's any eucalyptus tree hardy down into zone 6. I highly doubt that there's any long-term eucalyptus for zone 7. Nowhere in Canada you're going to grow a eucalyptus tree in zone 7 long-term. In the eastern states, you may be able to. I've seen pictures posted of neglecta and other hardier ones growing in Delaware and places like that. But I'm still thinking short term. If you get a polar vortex, they may get knocked back. But a lot of them have a linotuber, and they have a ability to regenerate new growth from the base. And that's what happens if you coppice them. They will regrow from the base. So if you can cut a eucalyptus tree down, it does grow. So the big one I'm going to get cut down, which I've been talking about for 2 years. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to get it cut to about an 8-foot trunk stump, and then that's going to regrow back. It's going to resprout, but I'm going to keep it low. So anyway, I think our eucalyptus trees look very tropical. They are absolutely beautiful. They sound nice in the wind, and they look good year round. Ken S., I just bought 2 Yucca Rostrada from Valley. Oh, Comox, they have them there, eh? Wow. Bare roots. How much? I'm curious, how much are they? They're probably quite expensive, I bet. I'm guessing they're probably about $100 for small plants. I should check that out. Valley Succulent. My daughter lives up there. Darn, I should have got her to bring me. If I would have known, she lives up in Black Creek. She was down last weekend. She was actually on my live stream with me. I did a couple of live streams. My daughter Sammy was in there because she was sitting beside me. So, but anyway, Jonathan, I like all exotic plants. So we do have a jungle garden here, but we also grow eucalyptus trees. I've been growing ukes for probably close to 35 years now, and I've experimented with all different types. I grew them in zone 8A, 8B on the mainland, and $8. No way. They must be small. I should contact them. They have to be small ones, then I bet. $8, that's cheap. Somebody said they just bought some for $100 at where was it? Vancouver somewhere. Trees are dropping. Those are messy. Those trees. Arbutus trees are very messy. There's leaves dropping off those things. 10 inches. That's okay. You have to start somewhere. I grew some Rostrata from seed one time, and the slugs came in and devoured them in my greenhouse. It was really upsetting. These little seedlings were emerging, and slugs can be a problem. And some of those slugs got in there, 1 or 2 slugs, and they ate them. They also ate my hardy aloe veras too. I grow some hardy aloe vera, but I have other plants outside that kind of look like aloe vera. They are gasteria, and then another plant that kind of looks like gasteria. I'm not sure what it is. Hey, Jonathan, try a eucalyptus tree if your zone will permit it. Look at neglecta. They got nice big tropical looking leaves on them. And we have a couple of neglecta in our garden. I used to have a big one, and snow snapped it off and broke it years ago, and it never came back. Unfortunately, that was the end of our biggest neglecta, but we still have 2 in the garden. I should actually be growing some more of those from seed. They're not as hardy as they say either. You know what I mean? Eucalyptus debusavilli, I believe, is the most cold hardiness, the Jonama snow gum. Parvula is hard, and the Passiflora. Niphophila is hardy, and Periniana is a good one too. But still, I would say long-term zone 8B plants. Anything less, I think you're going to get them cut back in a bad winter. But like I say, the nice thing about eucalyptus, a lot of them have ability to regrow. It's like Cordyline australis, big one growing in front of Central Fire Hall. I planted it years ago. It grew really big. It froze down in December 2008. That's a cold area in the winter. And then it just froze down this past winter. So they cut it down. It's got lots of new Cordylines coming up. The Trachycarpus I got growing beside it absolutely are flawless. I bet shipping was twice as much for Yucca. Oh, yeah. Depends. I mean, he might be in that area. So, yeah, he's in that area where they're selling the Yucca, so he didn't have to go for shipping. I ship a lot of things, all right, because I sell on eBay, and I also ship things FedEx because I carve and sell tikis and ship the tikis worldwide. So my folk art tikis, maybe not so much money, but the shipping actually sometimes costs more than the tiki. So the latest one I shipped was a few weeks ago to Redmond, Washington, near Seattle, and shipping was about $120. The same amount as the tiki cost. So the tiki was $120, and I think the shipping was $120 as well. And I always take the product into FedEx and weigh it, and the tiki weighed about 44, 45 pounds. They said it's going to be about $120. And so I told him, he said he had to think about it. He thought about it, so he wanted it. So I packaged it up and shipped it to him, FedExed him. But that's the problem. When you're looking at eBay, I always look at the shipping price. The price itself might not be that much, but the shipping they can really nail you on. I've seen some shipping as much as $50 for a small item, which I think is a complete rip-off. Okay. You have to think about it though. You know, shipping and handling. It takes time. Hi, Jane. Aloha. Hope all is well there and you're staying safe. Shipping and handling. It takes time to harvest the palm seeds. It takes time to package the palm seeds. I have to drive there to harvest the palm seeds. I have to buy a package to put the palm seeds in. And everything takes time. So that's where the handling comes in. So I guess that's why some people charge so much. I think my handling is fair, shipping and handling for my eBay product. I've been selling on eBay since 2008, and I do ship palm seedlings and seed weekly. And I was shipping and selling palms long before eBay ever came around. I've always grown and sold palm trees. Jane, how is everything in Honolulu today? You probably know I have canceled. My wife canceled our trip to Maui this year. We're having a staycation up where I live near in Rio Bravo, Ohio, my neighborhood. There is some Chinese fan palms there. Yeah, they'd need protecting in the wintertime for sure in Ohio and the Buckeye State. Well, things are good in Honolulu. That's great. And I'm glad you're doing okay. All is good here. This is a good place to be in the garden doing a live stream. I always feel safest in our garden. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm going to miss Hawaii this year. I really love going to Hawaii, seeing all my friends there. We have a lot of Hawaiian friends there we visit with. And not this year. So we have the condo booked for next year. We told the lady, gal that we get it from, to hold the deposit. So if all is well, we will be back on Maui. Yeah, there are palm trees that do Ohio, but yeah, they will definitely need protection. Chinese fan palms, so would they be Livistona chinensis or are they Trachycarpus fortunei? Yeah, there's a good book put out. Palm trees won't grow here, and palm trees, yeah, won't grow here, and other myths or something like that. I got that book when it came out, and I think it was put out by a guy that lives in Ohio, and he experimented with all sorts of palm trees there. So that's a good book for you to try. Palm trees, palms won't grow here, and other myths, something like that. I think that's what it's called. So look that one up, and it is about growing palm trees in Ohio and experimenting with them at the at a university in Ohio. Yeah, Jane, things are very good here on Salt Spring Island in the North Pacific. It is a cloudy day here now. I see a glimpse of blue sky over there, and I'm actually hoping it pours down with rain. In Hawaii, people grow green roses. Wow, green roses. You know what? I think I have seen that before. Wendy's a rose person. I've grown roses in the past, and the deer devour them, so I've given up on roses. But Wendy actually has several roses in the garden. She might have maybe 8 or 10 roses in the garden. She's got some ramblers, climbers, and then some bush roses. And I was ripping out some roses in one of the parks, and rather than compost them, I brought her one. Used for lay. Oh, cool. I don't think they would probably grow here, though. You can grow Chinese fan palms as dieback perennials where the... Yeah. I'm guessing you'd have to protect them, though. Livistona chinensis, if you lose your center spears on those ones, they're done. I've grown them before in Zone 8A, and I'd protect them. And yeah, they'd still get frond damage, but man, they were slow to recover. They definitely do like the heat. We have some small ones beside our house here. They are a long-term palm here in Zone 9A in a sheltered location, believe it or not. Green roses can grow in your... Is that right? Green roses. That would be something to look at. Green roses. Wow. Zone 7. If it's hardy to Zone 7, it will work here in our climate because we are a northern Zone 9A at this location. Hopefully that won't be for a while. It was 11 years ago we fell back into Zone 8B. So I'm going to have to look for green roses. I will Google that immediately after this live stream because I think that would be cool if I could surprise Wendy bush and put it behind the fence so the deer don't eat it. It's a mutation of the old blush China rose. Really cool. That is super interesting. So it actually has green flowers on it. That is something else. I think that's cool. I think that's one rose I would like. A green rose. Anyway, Jonathan, Livistona palms grow here in sheltered locations close to buildings. Some grew in for 20 years before they were moved because they were outgrowing their space next to a building. And a fellow in our Palm Society planted them in '89, and they lasted till I guess it was 2000. Was it 2009? It was, yeah, it was. It was 20 years. They lasted 20 years before they got removed. Unfortunately, they were getting nice size too. And they never got frost. It was a Zone 9A area of Vancouver. Anywhere around the big city, the urban heat is Zone 9A Vancouver. Lots of palm trees in the city of Vancouver. If you ever visit Vancouver, you will see the streets lined with palm trees. There's lots of Trachycarpus palms everywhere, and there's Camarops too. The petals are replaced with, interesting. Wow, that's really cool. A green rose. I'm going to have to Google pictures of that. A Zone 9A location for you is it absolutely much different, way different. And I tell people that all the time. Yeah, it's completely different. So if it's Zone 9A in Texas or Zone 9A in South Carolina is far different than here. And the difference is the length of freezes. So we may not fall below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, but when we do get a bad freeze, we can get down into the mid 20s. It can last several days. You can get into the lower 20s, and then the daytime temperatures might not even get much above freezing, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, is where in the south it bounces right back. You can grow lime or lemon. Yeah, there are some here. You should watch my videos on growing citrus. There are citrus trees here on Salt Spring Island. My friend Jeff has many in his garden. There's a big one next to his house, big trunk on it. He planted that years ago. When I was there in January, it had some nice oranges on it. It's an orange tree. And it's a beautiful orange tree. We have lemons outside. We have Meyer lemons. We have pomelo. We have kumquat. We have lime. Those we bring in the winter on the coldest days, although the lemon has been out pretty much all winter except for just a few days. It's been in the house. When it got really cold mid-January, we got down into the low 20s. I brought it in. If I could grow a citrus, it would be kaffir lime. Oh, yeah, kaffir lime is good. I also like Meyer lemon. I think they're pretty good too. There's while Wendy picks the lemons off it, there's some nice lemons on it right now. I could do an update video on our lemon bush. It's a bush, and it's doing very well. There's actually kumquats on the kumquat as well. It's a standard kumquat. It's growing right in front of our accommodation. So, yeah, it's really a neat little tree. I like the flowers on them, even if they never produce fruit. Tried mandarin. Maybe from seed years ago. I took seed off the Hearty citrus growing in my friend's place, and I have them growing. They're little citrus seedlings right here. There's a flying dragon citrus behind me. You see that? It's hard to see it with a big pot plant in front of it. This one here, you see that right there is a flying dragon right there. So it's a beauty. And that stays out all year because it's hardy, and that can grow much colder zones. Yes, the citrus is absolutely beautiful. It smells. There's a plant you might want to try. It's called Choicea ternata, very common landscape plant, and it smells really good. It's evergreen, and actually the leaves on it smell good too. And I think it's hardy to around 15 degrees Fahrenheit short term. And I have actually seen them killed in cold spots here. Yeah. We have lots of that here, Palms. It is legal here where I live. There's a big farm just down the road from me. They got about 20 acres of it. 20 acres of it outside. I smell it every day when I drive by. So, yeah, there's there and there and there. Yeah, it's a nice plant. We grow it as an ornamental. It's absolutely beautiful. And it is a exotic plant. It's an annual, of course. So the first frost is going to knock it back. Yeah. And, but if you put it outside the fence, the deer will eat it, believe it or not. Yeah, no, we don't. It's 100% legal here. You can grow it anywhere you want. And you see people every day in the park with it. Believe me. The green rose is a variety of Rosa chinensis. Rosa chinensis. That's good information. Really good information, Jane. You're a fountain of information. I love you, Jane. You're awesome. You know what? It's really getting cloudy, and I think it might rain. I'm sure hoping we get some rain. I think I'm going to go to 1 hour on this live stream, and I'll go to 1 hour, and then I'll call her quits. And because there's some really nasty looking clouds coming in from the west. Livistona chinensis, drought tolerant, possibly when it's really established. We have one in a pot here too. We have some beside the house, smaller ones. I have one in a pot here, and I've been watering it, but in a pot it certainly doesn't like to be dried out, because it did get dried out, and it started to some of the fronds started to shrivel up on it. Jane, the genetic of Rosa chinensis is the reason why rose. Oh, that's interesting. Well, yeah, ours don't flower year round. Well, actually, you know what? Roses do flower here in the winter, so they can flower just about year round here on Salt Spring Island. I have a family in southern Georgia. They are Zone 8B, and snow is extremely rare. There's also, yeah. Oh, I know. I know about Georgia well. My youngest son likes to go to Georgia. His best friend lives in Georgia, near Atlanta. He was just down there this past summer. He stayed down there for 3 weeks. And his buddy that lives in Georgia lived on Salt Spring for just about 3 years. He was going to school up here, and then he then he moved back down to Georgia. But yeah, I know how hot it gets. I'm pretty keen on the climates of the states, and I know I do have a lot of friends that live down in those areas, and I've got a lot of seed from Georgia. A lot of palm seed sent to me from Georgia over the years, and I've shipped a lot of my palm seed to Georgia. Hot and humid, really hot and humid. It can snow, rarely, but when it does get cold, they can get extreme cold, which is funny because it can actually get colder there than here. A good example is the January 1985 freeze, which I remember very well, and it was well below 0 Fahrenheit in Atlanta, Georgia. I think some areas hit minus 12 degrees Fahrenheit, and that froze out and weeded out a lot of palm trees at that time. And that is absolutely brutal cold for such southern locations. It doesn't seem right, but it does happen. There's nothing to stop the cold from funneling right down from the Canadian prairies, right through the Midwest and down into Georgia. It gets absolutely brutal cold, and it does actually northern Florida as well. And that's one thing we don't get here. So that's a difference between living here in the North Pacific and there. We don't get extremes, right? It's never been below 0 Fahrenheit here. The coldest temperature where I live is probably about 11 degrees. That's what I'm seeing on my records, 11 degrees Fahrenheit at this location, at this end of the island. Other areas of the island, the lowest has been is about 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and that happened in December, late December 68 and January 1950. I have the weather records for Salt Spring Island, so, and I also have the frost-free maps. But Georgia, you can grow a lot of stuff down there because they do get extreme heat. And Phil is always posting pictures of his plants and gardens and everything around Atlanta, Georgia in my palm group, and it is amazing what does grow in Atlanta. And hopefully those rare freezes stay away for a long time. Yeah, Savannah is really mild. Savannah is a completely different story because you're right along the water there. So it's way milder than Atlanta for sure. Atlanta's more like landlocked. North America's geography is so strange. Southern U.S. is... Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Well, look at the Scilly Isles off the coast of England, 49 degrees latitude, and it's zone 9B 10 there. The coldest temperature I experienced, 51 in Hong Kong. That is cold for Hong Kong. Can you imagine if we got that cold in Honolulu? You'd be freezing your hiney off. Hello, KROS Palm, Michael. Yes, people are in there now. By the way, it's 12:58 p.m. Pacific time here. KROS, hello from Poland. Good to see you, Michael. I've been doing this live stream for about an hour, so it is just about 1 p.m. Pacific time here. And the temperature feels like it's cooled down. When I started, it was 18.1. And it feels like it's going to rain here at any time. So if it starts to rain, I'm going to close this thing up and I'm going to have to move inside and call her quits. Mobile seems interesting climate-wise also. Mobile, Alabama, yeah. Subtropical down there for sure, almost. Lots of palmettos, date palms, Washingtonias, and you know what? All down in the southeast. I'm sure you could grow Washingtonia robusta in Atlanta. Short term anyway, it's going to freeze back. I know people that grow them in Arkansas, but they have to be protected, right? And there's some big ones in North Carolina and South Carolina as well. Poland temperature, yeah, it's really hot in Poland. We had that last week here, and it was too hot for me, Michael. Way too hot for me. I like this temperature right now. 18 degrees Celsius is good. So it's definitely a cooler day. And yesterday, I think we were 23.3 normal temperature, but today is definitely cooler, and it feels like there are some rain showers are going to happen soon, which is going to be very good for the garden. We had 12 millimeters of rain yesterday morning, and then the sun came out and it warmed up real fast. But millimeters of precipitation is under half an inch of rain. and it is really good for the garden. So I didn't have to water yesterday, and I'm not going to water today. Where is Coconut Mike's YouTube page? I don't know. Well, Coconut Mike passed away. You know that, eh? Mike Page passed away just about 2 years ago, December. And just look for palm trees in Montreal, and maybe you'll come across his stuff. Which of your palms like temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius? All of them. All of our palm trees can handle 30 degrees Celsius and above. Trachycarpus fortuni, not a problem. We have Brahia armata. We have lots of sables. And we have Butia. We have Jubea. We have mule palms and Camarops. All of them can handle temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius. So I'm hoping we don't get above 30 degrees Celsius anymore this summer. I'm happy with lower 20s is good for me. I don't want above 30 degrees Celsius. Too hot for me to work in. Anyone tried Dipsis? No, I never have. Dipsis decipiens is supposed to be a pretty hardy one too. I grow Camadoria radicalis and microspadex in the garden, and it does very well here. And it is growing. One of them is growing under the tree fern, and the microspadex is growing on the other side of the house beside Livistona, and does very well. Roses make good lay along with. Well, you know, Jane, the first time I got married at Diamond Head Park on Oahu, 3223 Diamond Head Road on the island of Oahu, and we had lays. We exchanged lays. They were they tuberose? No, they might have been orchids. They were purple ones. And then the second time I got married over years later, 30 years later, I got married in the mid 1980s. The summer of 1980, I got 85 or 86 on the island of Oahu near Waikiki. And then in November 30th, 2016, we got married on Maui. We got Maui, and we also exchanged lays, and we had kukui nuts as well. Most commonly grown Camadoria. I hear somebody here. I'm hearing somebody. I'm hearing a gate. I think it might be my wife's daughter. Hello. It is Krista. It is Krista. I did hear somebody. I wasn't hearing things. There was somebody here. It is Krista. Here comes Krista. And Krista has Kitty. Come and sit. Krista has Kitty. You got to see Kitty.
I just cleansed her with apple cider vinegar.
What? Oh.
You have to like mix it with water because she has fleas, which is really that was such an intense process.
Listen to this, people. If you have a cat with fleas, it will smell like apple cider vinegar in a salad.
Yeah.
Does it like it?
Fleas are crazy. That was insane.
Were they jumping off?
They're it's like they dig in. They're right in there. You can't really.
No, because they're biting, right? They're
Yeah.
They're sucking the blood.
Shampooed her, and then I mixed like a couple teaspoons with warm water, and you pour that over them. And then you got to comb it out and like get the fleas, and the fleas are moving around and digging in, and it was so intense.
Look at this cat.
And then you got to keep the cat kind of.
Is she happy?
She seems tired.
She seems tired. Do you think it got rid of the fleas?
There's a lot like right
you
in around her face. Once you do the wash and then the apple cider and castor oil.
So they move to the face.
They go right in, to the face. And I think like the warm areas where she can't get as much.
Oh my God.
So it was really, it was like.
She was a flea bitten little kitten, but not no more.
The castor oil really helped too.
Really?
I don't know if anyone else has done this, I just don't want to put the drops on her. That was so intense.
Look at this kitty.
The palms. She does love the palms.
She does. This cat climbs.
Goes crazy.
This cat climbs palm trees. That's what's the cat's name? This is her kitty.
Bravery.
And she's a brave kitty because she climbs palm trees. And she actually killed a mouse. I'm sure that cat killed a mouse last week because it was playing with this. It was actually a shrew, and it did kill. So it was probably its first kill. So hopefully it will grow up to get rats. Shrew. I know. I like shrews. Look at you. This cat, it looks pretty sleepy. And it does get along with the dog too. Isn't that cute? Yeah. Super cute kitty. Yeah. Nice. Oh, hopefully that works. Is she sleeping?
Yeah.
It's cold out here, isn't it? It's like it's cool.
A chilly day.
It's chilly now. Like, holy, it's changing.
Yeah.
Jane, Lewis Phillips. Jane is in Hawaii. The palms is in there. The cat probably loves palms. Yes, we know. It loves palms.
Yeah. She's like a little spider monkey.
It is like a spider monkey.
There's so many areas for her to go crawl around.
It's like a jungle gym here.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, this used to be called Jungle Gym Daycare many years ago. That's what it was called, Jungle Gym Daycare. Now it's a jungle gym for cats, right? Yeah. So an hour and 4 minutes into this, and the live stream has not petered out yet.
Wow.
This is good. So those boosters are actually
Fine.
they're actually working. And
What?
people like my shirt too. Like she
Oh,
gave me
did
this
you wear
shirt the
that?
other day, but I just posted a picture of it on Facebook, and it has some profanity on it. I think it says train hard or get the F out, right? And I said, what do you think of the shirt? Can I wear it out? And everybody liked the shirt.
It's because it's funny.
It is funny.
Unless you're being serious.
Yeah,
but,
no.
like,
I mean, I thought it was a fun.
I found it on this. I like when free boxes are put out.
I like it. It's a
so
totally cool shirt.
I
So
got the t-shirt out of a free.
well, it's kind of like this shirt too, right? You like this shirt? Can you see that? You see what that says, folks? Can they see that?
Nice coconut.
Nice coconuts. I bought that in Waikiki.
Bye.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in.
All right. I bought that one in Waikiki. Lewis Phillips, Autumn Damask Rose. Oh, Damask Rose are called. I've heard of that. Lokialani in Hawaii. They're used in Lei Lokialani in the island. Wow. Sweet. That is so cool, Jane. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I do like coconuts, folks. You know, I mean, coconut palms. And I do like to drink the juice out of the coconut. It's absolutely beautiful. And that's what I'm going to miss Maui for this year, my fresh coconut. I go down to the farm stand in Kihei and get a fresh coconut. And this year I will not be able to do that. I'll have to go to the grocery store. No, I'll pass on that. No grocery store coconut for me. They're absolutely disgusting. If you've ever tried a fresh coconut and then you've gone to the grocery store and had coconut water out of one of those, it's gross. Jane, it's good for you too. Electrolytes and that. You know, it was last week. Yeah, you're lucky you can get coconuts easily, Jane, where you are. Anyway, I got a bit of sunstroke last week because it was so hot. I was working all day. So I came home and, or no, I didn't. I went to the store and I drank some coconut water and it made me feel a lot better. It's electrolytes in it. I should have been drinking more of that in the day. But yeah, fresh coconut water is the best. And then I break open the coconut and eat the meat out of it. It's just absolutely awesome. Really, really good. Anyway, folks, Pure P. Oscri. Hello. Well, we got quite a few people in there. At first, I didn't know anybody would actually even show up today, but you are. So we'll go for a few more minutes because it is starting to cool off out here. It feels like it's probably dropped down to 17 degrees Celsius, which is a cool summer day here. And because it should be up into the 20s. And well, if it does rain, it's going to be a lot happier garden, I'll tell you that. What temperature and humidity do you have in the greenhouse now during germination of palm? Sunny day, gets up into the 90s, and humidity is quite high, especially after I water. But I bet you the humidity in there is probably about 70% or so, 75%. I have a pair of Jubaecocoides in the garden, and it's doing terrible. I put it in a really bad spot under some big trees, and the roots from the cedar trees through the plicata have sucked the life out of it. So you know what? I think I'm actually going to dig it out, and that's a project. I might dig it out this weekend and put it back into the greenhouse. It's not happy where it is. It survived the winter, but it's struggling. It's getting it's too dry. It's way too dry. Yeah, so it's pretty warm in the greenhouse, and oh, it is starting to rain now. I feel it. How long does it take on the average for Sizable minor seeds to germinate? I've had some in the ground for 2 weeks. Yeah, for me about 3 to 4 months, something like that, with heat. On average, how long does 410 seeds take to germinate in a baggie? Warm, it'll be less than a month for you in a baggie. Oh, here comes raindrops. They're falling on my computer. Guess what, guys? I gotta go. There's raindrops falling right now. I don't want to wreck my laptop. Cheers and aloha to all of you. I love you all. Thanks for watching. I have to end the stream. Thanks for joining in, and check out my latest videos. Thanks for subscribing and watching, and we will see you next time. If it's nice tomorrow, I'll do another live stream. Good to see you in there, Jane, and everybody else. Aloha. Cheers from Salt Spring Island here in the North Pacific. Yeah, raindrops are falling. Yes, I love the rain, and so does our garden. Cheers to you all, man. You're awesome.